People who win the lottery are statistically more likely to go bankrupt than people who never won at all. Not because they were reckless, not because they were stupid, because something invisible happened the moment the fear left their body. And nobody warned them what that something was. For most of your life, fear has been your financial operating system. The anxiety you feel when your bank account dips too low. The dread before checking a bill. The low-grade panic that hums under every large purchase. That is not a flaw in your psychology. That is the engine keeping the whole machine running. Neuroscientists studying financial decision-making have found that the brain's threat response system, the amygdala, the same ancient circuit that kept your ancestors alive, is deeply wired into how you earn, save, and protect resources. Fear is not just an emotion you feel about money. Fear is the mechanism that makes you act on money at all. Think about the last time you worked really hard for something financially. A promotion you chased for months? A debt you clawed your way out of? What was underneath all of that effort? Trace it back far enough, and you will almost always find a version of fear. Fear of falling behind. Fear of losing something. Fear of what happens if you don't. This is not a flaw in the system. This is the system. Psychologists call it loss aversion. The well-documented finding that humans feel the pain of losing something roughly twice as powerfully as the pleasure of gaining the same thing. Your brain is not built to chase reward. It is built to run from loss. And for thousands of years, that asymmetry kept you alive. But here is where it becomes dangerous. When something changes, a raise, an inheritance, a business that starts working, and that underlying fear begins to dissolve, the brain does not automatically upgrade to a new operating system. It goes quiet. And a quiet threat response system means a quiet action system. The urgency that once made you track every dollar evaporates, not because you chose to let it go, because the fear that manufactured the urgency is gone. Researchers studying sudden wealth recipients, lottery winners, inheritance beneficiaries, people who received large legal settlements, found a consistent behavioral pattern. Within the first 6 to 18 months, spending on things that generated no future value spiked sharply. Not because these people suddenly became careless, but because the financial vigilance that had governed their choices for decades had nothing left to defend against. The money does not disappear on its own. You push it out, unconsciously, through a dozen small decisions that each make perfect sense in isolation. A nicer apartment because you deserve it. A car upgrade because now you can. A subscription you barely use because what's the difference? Each one reasonable, the sum of them devastating. There is a term behavioral economists use, financial vigilance decay. As perceived financial threat decreases, the mental bandwidth devoted to monitoring, protecting, and growing wealth shrinks alongside it. It is not laziness. It is the brain reallocating resources away from a problem it no longer believes exists. Security feels like safety. Safety switches the system off. What separates the people who hold on to wealth from the people who don't has almost nothing to do with intelligence, discipline, or willpower in the traditional sense. It has to do with whether they found a new reason to stay alert. The wealthy who stay wealthy almost universally replace the fear of scarcity with a different kind of vigilance. Not anxiety, but intention. They did not stop caring about the money. They changed what they were caring about it for. This is the shift that no financial advisor tells you to make, because it lives entirely in the psychology, not the spreadsheet. You have to consciously replace the automated fear that once guarded your resources with a deliberate structure of meaning. A goal specific enough to trigger the same neurological urgency. Not the panic of falling. The pull of building toward something real. The people who win and keep winning financially are not fearless. That is the myth. They are precisely afraid. Afraid of the right things, for the right reasons, in a way they chose consciously rather than inherited accidentally. The lottery winner who goes broke was not failed by luck. They were failed by a system that ran on fear, and nobody taught them what to run on once the fear ran out.